My name is Grant, and 5 years ago, I thought my life was over. I was just an ordinary working man, not rich, not struggling, a steady job at an auto repair shop, a modest house in the suburbs of Colorado, and a wife, Stephanie, whom I had been with for 8 years. I didn't drink, didn't fool around, worked hard like a man is supposed to. And you know what my biggest mistake was? I truly believed that being a good person was enough to be valued. Stephanie always said she needed stability, that she was afraid of living without security for the future. I thought paying the bills, keeping food in the fridge, and having calluses on my hands was stability. Turns out she meant something completely different. One day she just said, "Grant, I can't do this anymore. I'm tired of living without prospects. I'm leaving." At first, I didn't even understand. Leaving? To where? To whom? Turns out, to a bank manager from her workplace. He had a slightly more expensive car, a shinier watch, vacations in the Maldives twice a year. And in her logic, that was what prospects looked like. She didn't even cry during the divorce hearing. Her lawyer coldly listed the terms. The house would be divided, accounts split, cars shared. She took half of everything I had worked for over a decade and walked away like she was just going to grab groceries. She didn't even look back. I was left in an empty house, sitting on a bare mattress, staring at the wall, thinking, so what now? Who am I without her? Without a home? Without a future? For a while, I lived like a ghost. Wake up, go to work, come back, eat whatever didn't require effort, fall asleep with the TV on. No thoughts, no plans, just a man existing out of habit. My coworkers tried inviting me out, but I always refused. I didn't want pity, I didn't want advice, I just wanted silence. One night, I came home and looked at myself in the mirror. Unshaven, dark circles under my eyes, shoulders slouched. I didn't recognize the man staring back. That's when a thought hit me. If I keep living like this, I'll die before I even hit 50. Not physically, but inside. The next morning, I walked into the auto shop, handed my boss my resignation, and said, "I'm done fixing other people's cars. It's time I build something of my own." He looked shocked. I had been his most reliable mechanic, but I was done being just an employee. I sold what was left from the divorce, took a loan, and rented a dusty old warehouse on the edge of town. It smelled like oil and rust, but to me, it smelled like freedom. I spent weeks cleaning, painting, installing equipment. It wasn't much, but it was mine. When I finally hung the sign, Larson Auto Repairs, honest work, no nonsense, I stood there for a minute just staring at it. For the first time since Stephanie left, I felt something close to pride. I wasn't healed, I wasn't happy, but I was moving. The first few weeks were slow. A couple of customers a day, mostly locals who didn't trust big dealerships. Some came out of curiosity, others because they liked the sign. I didn't make much, but every dollar I earned felt different now. It wasn't a paycheck, it was proof I still mattered. One evening, as I was locking up, I heard a calm voice behind me. "Excuse me, are you still open?" I turned around and saw a woman standing next to a silver SUV. Brown hair pulled into a low ponytail, simple black coat, no flashy makeup, elegant without trying. "I can take a look," I said. She smiled slightly. "Good, because every other place told me to come back tomorrow, and tomorrow isn't an option." There was confidence in her tone, but not arrogance, more like someone who was used to handling things on her own. I opened the hood and started checking the engine. She stood beside me quietly, not hovering, not asking dumb questions, just observing. Most people fidget or complain. She didn't. She waited. "It's your alternator," I finally said. "I can fix it tonight, but it'll take a couple of hours." "That's fine," she answered. "Mind if I wait inside?" "Go ahead. Coffee machine's by the wall. It's terrible, but it's hot." she chuckled. "I've had worse." While I worked under the hood, I could see her through the glass, sitting on the old leather couch in the waiting corner, holding that awful paper cup of coffee like it was perfectly fine. No scrolling on her phone, no impatient tapping, just calm. It was unusual. After about an hour, I stepped inside to wash my hands. She looked up. "So, do I get the verdict?" "Almost done," I said. "You didn't tell me your name." "Sophia," she replied. "And you?" "Grant." She nodded like she already knew that would be my name. Don't ask me why, that's just how it felt. When I finally handed her the keys back, she didn't immediately leave. "You built this place yourself?" she asked, looking around. "Yeah." "It shows." "How so?" She shrugged slightly. "It feels like it belongs to someone who rebuilt more than just a building." Her words hit deeper than I expected. She didn't know my story. She hadn't seen the nights I spent doubting everything, yet she read me like an open book. She handed me her card. "If you ever consider expanding, call me. Sophia Hughes, business consultant." I raised an eyebrow. "Consultant, huh? So that calm attitude comes with a price tag." She smirked. "Only for people who don't offer terrible coffee." I didn't call her, not right away. I told myself I was too busy, that I didn't need anyone's help. Truth was, I was scared. Not of business changes, of feeling something again. A few days later, I found her card sitting on my desk. I couldn't stop rereading the line under her name. Business consultant. It sounded cold and professional, yet all I could think about was her steady voice asking for better coffee. So I did the most ridiculous thing. I bought a real coffee machine. A good one. Chrome, shiny, expensive. Then I dialed her number. "Sophia Hughes," she answered. "It's Grant." Pause. Then, "Ah, the man with the tragic coffee." "I fixed that," I said. "Maybe you should come verify." She laughed. "Text me the address. I'll be there tomorrow." She arrived right on time. Clipboard in hand, business casual, hair tied up like she meant to negotiate a merger. The only problem was, I kept noticing the dimple that appeared when she smirked. She tested the new coffee, took a long sip, nodded. "Acceptable. Now let's talk business." For the next 2 hours, she tore through my processes like a storm. Pricing, scheduling, customer retention, nothing survived her scrutiny. "You run this place like a mechanic," she finally said. "I am a mechanic," I reminded her. "Not anymore," she replied. "You want to scale. That makes you an owner. Start acting like one." That hit harder than any wrench I'd ever taken to the head. So I did. I listened. I implemented. I stopped being just the guy who fixes cars and became the guy who runs the shop. And Sophia, she kept showing up. At first, once a week, then twice. Then it wasn't about reports. It was about us. Coffee turned into lunch, lunch into late evenings into conversations I hadn't had in years. She never tried to inspire me. She didn't feed me speeches. She just stood beside me and said, "You can do more, so do it." And for the first time in a long time, I believed it. 6 months later, I stood in my own shop, our shop really, staring at a waiting list booked 2 weeks out. I had 3 new mechanics on payroll, a fresh paint job on the building, and a neon sign that read Grant's Auto and Performance. Never thought I'd see my own name glowing like that. One evening, after closing, I was locking up when Sophia walked over, carrying 2 coffees. She handed me one and leaned against the wall beside me. "No paperwork today?" I teased. "Not tonight," she said. "Tonight I'm off the clock." We stood there watching the sun dip behind the hills of Colorado. For once, there was no noise in my head. No bitterness, no anger, no ghosts of the past. Just quiet, just peace. "You ever think about where you'd be if she never left?" Sophia asked. I let out a low breath. Still fixing cars for someone else, still begging to be appreciated. She nodded. "Then maybe she did you a favor." I smirked. "Don't give her that much credit." She laughed. Then she slipped her hand into mine. No drama, no promises, no fireworks. Just something solid, something real. And I realized happiness doesn't always kick the door in. Sometimes it just walks up beside you and waits for you to notice. I'm not telling you this to brag. I'm telling you this because maybe you're where I was, thrown away, replaced, convinced your story is over. But take it from a man who lost everything. Sometimes being broken is the best thing that can happen to you, because it forces you to rebuild, stronger, smarter, on your own terms. And if someone walks beside you while you're rebuilding, don't call it luck, call it deserved. If my story hit you somewhere deep, don't just scroll past. Hit like, drop a comment, share your own story. Let's prove one thing together. Men fall, but real men get back up.